The rain had just stopped over New York City, leaving the tarmac shimmering like liquid glass under the airport lights. Inside Terminal B, Ethan Cole, CEO of Cole Tech Industries, sat silently near Gate 42, staring at the reflection of his own tired face in the window. His jet black suit was pressed, his wristwatch gleamed, but his eyes carried a weight that not even wealth could polish away. For years, Ethan had built an empire of innovation, millions of users, billions in value, yet tonight, as planes took off one after another, he felt strangely hollow. His phone buzzed again. Another board message, another decision, another problem. But he didn't read it. He just turned the screen face down. The announcement echoed through the terminal. Flight 209 to Chicago now boarding. As he rose, a little girl with a pink jacket brushed past his leg, dragging a small unicorn backpack. She looked up, smiled wide, and said, "You look like my teacher when he forgets his lunch." Ethan blinked, surprised. "Oh really? And how's that? He looks sad." "You look sad too," she said, frowning slightly. Then she skipped away toward the gate, her mother calling, "Lily, come back here." That brief encounter made him pause. He hadn't realized how visible his sadness had become. Hours later, at 30,000 feet above the glowing grid of America, the cabin lights dimmed. Ethan reclined, trying to lose himself in the hum of the engines. But fate had other plans. The same little girl, Lily Parker, age 7, was sitting right beside him. "Hi again," she said brightly. Ethan gave a polite smile. "Hi, seatmate," she giggled, whispering, "That's funny. Mommy says I shouldn't talk to strangers, but you don't look scary. Just lonely." Her mother hushed her gently, embarrassed, but Ethan shook his head. "It's all right. She's just honest." Outside the window, lightning danced silently among the clouds. Lily pressed her nose against the glass. "It's like angels taking pictures," she whispered. Ethan smiled for the first time in days. When the turbulence began, Lily grabbed his arm. "I'm scared." Instinctively, Ethan held her hand and said, "Hey, it's okay. The plane's just talking to the wind." Lily peeked up at him. "You sound like Daddy. He talks soft like that, but he's far away now." Something in Ethan's chest tightened. "Far away, like another city." She shook her head. "He went to heaven last year. Mommy says he helps God fix the stars." Ethan felt the sting of tears behind his eyes, the first in years. The engines roared softly, the world outside faded into clouds, and beside him, a small hand rested trustingly in his. The flight landed in Chicago under a sunrise painted gold and violet. Ethan helped Lily's mother, Anna Parker, with their bags. She thanked him politely and hurried to catch their connecting bus to San Francisco, where she hoped to start a new life. But something about them, the courage of that small girl, the quiet strength of her mother, stayed with him long after they parted. In his sleek black car, Ethan's driver navigated through morning traffic, past skyscrapers and streaming commuters. Chicago's streets buzzed with life, taxis honking, motorbikes weaving, buses groaning under the weight of another busy day. Yet inside the car, silence reigned. That night, in his penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan, Ethan couldn't sleep. He poured coffee, stared at the city lights, and opened his email. Among hundreds of business messages, one subject caught his eye: community school funding canceled. It was a small rural school outside Vermont, one of his company's pending charity projects. He'd signed it months ago but never followed up. His finance team had cut it to optimize costs. He hovered over the delete button, then hesitated. Lily's voice echoed in his head, "You look sad too." By morning, Ethan made a decision that startled even himself. He canceled his corporate meetings, booked a flight to Vermont, and drove from the airport in a dusty rental car toward a quiet village surrounded by maple trees and rolling green hills. The road was narrow and peaceful, children playing near wooden fences, farmers waving at passing cars. It felt like another world. When he arrived at Meadowridge Elementary, he found a handful of students studying under a leaking roof. The principal, Mr. Harlan, shook his hand. "We're losing hope, sir. The city cut our funds again. We might close before winter." Ethan looked around. Faded walls, old chalkboards, broken desks, and then into the hopeful eyes of the children. Something inside him shifted. He took off his suit jacket, rolled up his sleeves, and asked, "How much do you need to keep this school alive?" "Mr. Harlan blinked. "About $200,000, sir." "But we can't expect," Ethan interrupted. "You can consider it done." Within days, repairs began. Workers arrived with tools and paint. New computers were delivered. The playground was rebuilt. Ethan stayed for a week, working beside them, eating in the local diner, and walking through fields that smelled of earth and rain. One afternoon, as he stood watching the children play, he heard a familiar giggle. "Hey, it's you," Lily shouted, running across the new playground. Her mother, Anna, was talking with the principal. She'd been hired as the new music teacher. Ethan was stunned. "You live here?" Anna smiled. "We do now. Vermont gave us a fresh start." He laughed softly. "Seems we both found a fresh start." That evening, as the sun melted behind the hills, the sound of children's laughter filled the air, a melody that washed away the last trace of loneliness in his heart. Weeks passed, and Ethan's life took on a meaning no boardroom could ever give. He stayed connected with the school, setting up scholarships for rural kids across multiple states, Chicago, Denver, and San Francisco, the same cities he'd once crossed without seeing their souls. He often visited Lily's class to teach them simple lessons about kindness and dreams. She would run to him shouting, "Mr. Cole, tell us another airplane story." And each time he smiled, remembering that night above the clouds, when a child's innocent question tore open the walls around his heart. One autumn morning, the mayor of the village invited Ethan to speak at the school's reopening ceremony. Standing before parents and children, with golden leaves swirling through the breeze, he said, "Greater than, I used to think success was about building taller buildings, faster cars, and bigger companies. But now I know, true success is measured by the lives we lift, not the titles we wear." The crowd applauded, but his gaze found Lily's. She grinned, whispering something to her mother. Anna nodded, and the little girl ran to him, handing him a handmade paper star. "Daddy helps fix the stars," she said, "but you fixed our school. So this one's for you." Ethan took it with trembling hands, eyes glistening. He whispered, "Thank you, Lily." As night fell over Vermont, he stood by his car, looking up at the same sky they once flew through together. He realized he hadn't just repaired a school, he'd repaired himself. He smiled softly and said to the wind, "Maybe that's what kindness really is, the quiet way heaven teaches us to start again." The headlights flickered on, lighting the country road where children's laughter still echoed. The CEO who once hid behind steel towers had found peace in wooden fences and open skies. And somewhere above, perhaps, one star shined just a little brighter. Sparkles. Dear viewers, if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to comment your thoughts below. Speech balloon. Tell us, what's the kindest act you've ever witnessed? And don't forget to like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel Kindness Quest, where every story reminds us that one small act of compassion can change the whole world. Globe sparkling heart.